So you have zero motivation to read. We've all been there. Here are 10 tips to help you get out of a book slump. What's up, little goblins? Welcome back to my channel. It's Remy, and today I'm going to give you guys some tips to help you get out of a book slump if you're in one, because I feel like recently we've all been in a book slump, including myself. I'm trying to crawl my way out of that very slowly, but I'm doing it. And I'm going to give you guys some tips that I've heard from other people and some tips that have helped me. So let's get into those. My first tip for people who are trying to get out of a reading slump, or for people who are trying to get into reading, is to make small reading goals. And what I mean by that is to read at least 30 minutes a day, or read a chapter before bed, or even read during commercial breaks when you're watching your favorite show. These small reading goals get you to reading it a little bit at a time until you are obsessed with it and can't put it down. Getting into a book can be the hardest thing, especially when you're in a slump. So having these small little goals helps you get into the book faster. My second tip is to read short stories, or like novellas. Basically, these are really short books that you can read in a pretty quick time period. So then you get that accomplishment factor of finishing a story, from beginning to end, even if it was short, and it makes you motivated to read more. Number 3, stick to your comfort genre. I know there's a lot of pressure to get outside of your comfort genre, especially if it's romance, but if you're trying to get out of a reading slump, stick with the books you know you'll love, because if you keep reading books that you're not interested in, you're gonna be stuck in a reading slump. I've been stuck in a reading slump for a whole year before, so don't do that. Stick with your comfort genre. Tip number 4, this is not something I've done, but this is something I've noticed that other people do. Reread your favorite books. I'm not the biggest rereader, but I think that it is a great way to get out of a book slump, because you know you already love the book. So once you reread it, you'll be like, this is why I love books, and get back into reading. Number 5, which is my personal favorite way to get out of a book slump, is to read a book in a series that you already love. One book that kind of got me out of a reading slump was reading Thrive in the Addicted/Kelly Sister series, because I already love all of those characters, and the book Thrive was about my favorite couple, so it really helped me get out of that hump of my reading slump. I don't feel like I'm completely out of it, but it definitely gave me more motivation to read. Number 6, which was my personal favorite a couple years ago, read a trashy book. If you really are not feeling it and you want a no brain power, just kind of garbage read, do that. Because if you consume a book, you consume a book, and it'll help you get back into those really good, meaningful reads. And you know what I mean by trashy read, like a mafia romance, or like a smutty book, or there's just no plot, just straight crap. I love those when I just have no motivation to read, because I'm getting through a story even though it is a trashy book. It helps you get that accomplishment factor like it would with short stories or novellas, because you're finishing a story from beginning to end, and it gives you that kind of motivation to keep reading. One time I was in a bad book slump and I read a whole series of a trashy mafia romance, and it was honestly, I love that. When I'm in my trashy book moods, I know what authors I go to. Number 7, if you for the life of you can't sit down and read, listen to an audiobook. I don't care what people say about damn audiobooks. You are consuming the same thing. I think there's a difference between only listening to audiobooks and reading and also listening to the audiobook. Regardless, it doesn't even matter. You're still reading the book. You're still consuming the story. If you are busy and you have no motivation to sit down and read these damn words, listen to a fucking audiobook, okay? Listen to the audiobook. Get some chores done. Then you got motivation to clean your house, because you need something with your hands while you're listening to this damn audiobook. And then it also, you get into the story faster, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with this. And then you're like, I need the physical copy because I want to physically read it. And then you're physically reading. Boom, out of book slump. Exactly. You know I'm right. Number 8, my favorite thing to do. Read a book on your phone in your bed. Listen. Listen, if you got the Kindle app, if you got the Kobo app, if you got an EPUB app where you can just read ebooks of PDFs you find online, okay, do it. Because the constant scroll, like, you're not worried about how many pages you're actually going. It's just a constant, that's my favorite thing to do, the constant scroll, because I'm not aware of how many pages I'm reading. I'm just reading. And listen, it's the fastest way I get through books. The fastest way that I get through books. And honestly, you're comfy in your bed. You're comfy in your bed. You're going to be scrolling on your phone anyway. You might as well be reading while you're scrolling on your phone. Scroll and read, you know? Number 9, a tip that I've seen other people use, but I personally haven't used. Look up Pinterest boards or Spotify playlists of a specific book you're trying to get motivation to read. This is something that I know a lot of people do. I used to do this, but I don't do it as much anymore. When it comes to like the Pinterest boards, I've never done it with the Spotify playlist. I've never done that. I've never been big on listening to Spotify playlists if they're connected to books. So if you are, I suggest you should do that, because that'll give you the motivation, especially if you recognize some of the songs and you're like, oh my God, if this book gives this song's energy, then I want to read it. It gives you that motivation. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, number 10. I suggest watching bookish content. My favorite thing to do is to watch mood reading vlogs or just reading vlogs in general. I love watching people read and find their favorite books, or talk about current genres they're loving right now, or reading a book they never thought they'd love and they superly, insanely enjoyed. It gives me so much motivation to read, and I really suggest you do that. I have plenty of reading vlogs if you want to go watch those. But yeah, that's all the tips I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.